There are conversations you can't have with certain people until they spend time with God. Yeah, let me see if I can put it in a better way. There are conversations you can't have with people. There are even debates you will not have with people when they have spent time with God, after they have spent reasonable, substantial time with God. That being said, I can now say what I said earlier. There are conversations you cannot have with people, all right, until they spend time with God. If you pursue such conversations, you will end up in an argument, as in you will skip a debate and land in a full-blown argument. In fact, it could degenerate into a shouting match. Conversations regarding spiritual depth, all right, certain spiritual conversations. When I mean spiritual, I mean that they are tied to the Word of God, and I mean, because we are human beings, they are also tied to lifestyle. Okay, so you are being careful what you say, because you are realizing that this person is not operating at the level where they can handle certain truths. Let me give an example. Back in my 100 level in Babcock University, I had a roommate. All right, I had roommates. Okay, and one of them, I think we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a room, not in a hall, in a room. So those of you who think that private universities, we just go there and sleep under air conditioned atmosphere is not true. I went to university and I lived the university life in such a way that the only thing that made it a private university was the cost. The cost was the only thing that made it private. Every other thing was like a public university. Well, that's by the way. So one of my roommates, I was saying something. I mean, I've always been inclined to God. I've always been fascinated by spiritual things. So I was saying something and I said, somehow I got the point of saying there is a level that there are levels to a relationship with God. Yeah, I think I said something like that, or something to that effect. Or some people have more relationship or closer relationship with God than others. And one of my roommates was like questioning that statement. That how can I make that kind of statement? How can I say that God is available to everybody? That nobody should act like they are the ones that know God more than the others. When people have judged themselves, they judge themselves by themselves, and then you say something that does not mean what they think it means, and they jump at it because they feel like you are judging them, but you are not actually judging yourself. You understand? And he couldn't grasp the possibility of God having different relationships with everybody. He just felt like we are all God's children, and therefore God has the same love for all of us. And I'm like, yeah, God's love for everyone is the same. That's why one person has to die for everyone. All right. If it was different levels, you would have different people die for different groups of people. But only one Jesus died for every person on the earth, even those who had come before, those who were going to come after his death. But the relationship with God is different, and then it informs the relationship with God also informs the power you wield in the spirit. All right. And so when you see men of God do certain things, perform certain miracles, make certain declarations, it's a function of their relationship with God. When I mean relationship, I mean how close they are with God, how much time they spend with God. And it felt like you wanted to bring it to an argument. I don't know that I was wise enough to say no. I'm not going to engage. I said, okay, don't worry, stick with your philosophy. I know what I'm talking about. You understand? And not just because I think he's right. I have gone through scriptures. At that time, I knew that people have varying relationships with God, and that relationship tends to affect the amount of power you wield as a believer. Yeah, yeah. It's like let's see. Let's look at the heat, fire, a furnace. A furnace. You put a metal into the furnace. The metal goes hot. You keep it there, it begins to glow. It has that golden glow. Alright, it's very hot. You can literally kill someone with just poking them with that thing. Alright, but it's glowing, it's hot. And why? It's there, it's close to the fire. So even if you keep it close to the fire, it's going to still be hot. It will be coming down, it's going to be hot. Now imagine if you take that metal and walk away from the fire, walk away from the heat, walk away, and then you walk into cold water. You get what I mean right now? Exactly. All right, so imagine 50 metal bars, and then you line them up. Two of them are touching the fire, another one is just after the other one. Right, it has touched the fire, but is now one step away. On that one has touched the fire, but just do that one step away till you get 50. What will you realize? You realize that the ones that are touching the fire are hotter. The ones that are close to the fire are less hot, but they're still hot. But then you go down, you find out that they are varying intensities. Why? Because their relationship with the fire, the proximity with the fire, their intimacy with the fire is varying, is a continuous variable down the line until it is totally inexistent. But he couldn't understand that. Why? He had not spent time with God, so he had no practical knowledge of that truth. I had spent time with God, so I knew. At that time, I knew that this is not just theory, this is practical. I knew what my life was before I spent time with God. I knew what my life was after I spent time with God. I knew the declarations I was making and the accuracy of those declarations. I knew the things I was saying that were coming to pass afterwards. And I knew that before I started spending time with God, I didn't have this capability. I knew I knew when I laid hands on people and they received their healings. I knew the times when I laid hands on myself, I couldn't even receive it. I couldn't even stop headache. Alright, that's an example now. Alright, of a situation where you step out of conversations simply because the person you are conversing with has no experiential knowledge of the matter, and so you would end up in arguments, aimless arguments. I at a point in my life, I'm a musician. For those who don't know, at a point in my life, I told myself, not because it is bad, but because I just couldn't do it anymore. What is that? Listening to secular songs. Alright? Now, I'm not saying that it is not bad. Okay, I'm just saying that remove morality from the matter. Alright? Look objectively as a musician. When I mean objectively, I mean music is an art, but when I say look at it from the perspective of a musician who wants to improve in his art, you will have to listen to other works. Alright, you will have to explore other creativities, other creators. Okay, so over years I tend to do that. I tended in that direction. I would listen to a lot. I mean, I opened myself to a lot of sounds out there. Okay, until I got to a point where I had spent some time with God. God had called me up and I answered that call and I stepped up. I moved to a higher level. I stayed with him. And after like a year, or I don't know, was it a year? I can't remember. I got the phone, I was like, I can't listen to. I don't know how to. I'm a songwriter. I know that. The reason why I know that I'm a good songwriter because a lot of people have asked me to. They've listened to my songs and have either commended me or asked me to write songs for them. So I know I'm a good songwriter. I also have an award that tells me I'm a good songwriter. But I got to the point where I said, I don't know how to bring myself to the point of putting pen to paper to write a secular song. Take note, a secular song is a song that is away from God. It cuts itself away from God. It is basically anti-God. Alright? It moves away from God. It appeals or it inclines to things that are not God or that stand against God. Right? Example, when songs praise money, praise my desire for money or my inclination to money. Alright, that is a secular song because it puts money at the center and throws God away. When I do songs about women that glorify women over and above any other thing, especially God. When I say things like you're my everything, I tell a woman that you're my everything, I have simply thrown God away. You understand? When I use certain words to describe women or a woman, or my street credibility, or my money, or my popularity, you understand, or my skill, I am glorifying that thing over and above God. That is a secular song. Some people call it worldly songs. Okay, then there are mainstream songs that are mainstream, meaning that these songs should be or can be sung by anybody, literally anybody. Alright, your national anthem is a mainstream song. Your nursery rhymes are mainstream songs. Your what now? Your even some love songs are mainstream songs. Alright, when I sing, I'm a prisoner, you're a prisoner too, Mr. Jailer, Mr. Jailer. So when I sing songs like that, alright, those are mainstream, so anybody can see them. Some people call them inspirational songs. Alright, so they are not necessarily gospel, but they are not anti-God. Okay, but I got to a point that even some gospel songs, like I couldn't bring myself to sing them. Some, let me not say gospel songs, some church songs, yeah. So gospel songs, I will always sing gospel song. Alright, but church songs, some churchy songs, they are churchy, but they are very inaccurate, doctrinally out of place. But I couldn't bring myself to sing some songs because I had sat down with God too long to come out and be singing you're my life to a human being. Who do you think you are? I'm still trying to bring myself to the point of saying God is my life. I never do that and finish. I'm now telling another human being that you're my. It's a lie. You're not. You're my world. It's a lie. You're not my world. I have engaged God so much that it has soaked into my system. I can't bring these lips to speak contrary to my heart. You begin to hear things that the just shall live by faith. The justified, those that God has justified, they will live by their convictions. So they can't bring themselves to lie because the words that they say will be contradicting the words in their heart. Alright? So it's not even a matter of, it's a sin to sing those songs. No, that's not.